Get ready, my soul.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to the sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to the sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Are you ready? Because we are diving in. First of all, thank you for being here, because it would be really interesting doing this to a bunch of empty chairs. And I assure you, I would. My wife Deborah sends her love. We had an incredibly busy day yesterday, which we went down to Santa Cruz to Reverend Deborah Johnson's Inner Light Ministry. Reverend Michael Beckwith, who she actually grew up with, was there helping her celebrate her 20th year anniversary. And then we had a really nice dinner and then a really nice concert from J.B. Lula and Gary Lynn Floyd. And hill, and here I am. She is home resting. But she wanted me to make sure that I told you that she is here in spirit. Thanks the world to you guys. Today's talk title is What It Does, subtitled, What's in Your Silly Buddy? Somewhere in practitioner studies, I needed a concrete image to understand how consciousness works. And Silly Putty did it for me. Because Silly Putty, some of you may not know what it is. I'm looking around. Most of you know. Most of us are in the same age bracket. Silly Putty is this magical substance that when you put it down, especially on the comic strip that used to be in the newspaper, it used to be color, I don't know what it is now because I haven't seen the newspaper in years. If you put it on there, and then when you peel it off, exactly what was in the comic strip was on your Silly Putty. Right? When we talk in Science of Mind about impressing our thoughts into consciousness, and that that's creative, it's the same exact thing as Silly Putty. Whatever you impress into consciousness, just as objectively, just as mechanically, just as clearly, consciousness goes, that's what's in your belief system, you got it. Consciousness, just like Silly Putty, nowhere ever did I put Silly Putty down and it rise up and go, are you sure you want to put that in there? Never happened. And it never happens with consciousness either. See, consciousness never questions what we put in it. It simply responds affirmatively. It responds with yes. And so it would really behoove us to pay attention to what we're putting in consciousness. And that requires work. That requires study. It requires spiritual practice. It requires being willing to go to the uncomfortable places. I think it's Joseph Campbell that says, the cave that we're unwilling to go into holds the greatest treasure ever seen. And the challenging part is recognizing, realizing, and embracing that the cave that we fear to go into is in the mirror. We get distracted at everything outside. If this would just change, I'd be okay. If this would just happen, I'd be okay. And the truth of the matter is, if all of those things happened, it wouldn't change you at all. It wouldn't change you at all. The truth of the matter is, you already are okay. You were born okay. You're okay now. You can't be unokay. You can't. That's like saying God is somehow not okay. Can't happen. Can't happen. We can tell ourselves that, and we will believe that, and we will act as if it's true, because that's what we put in our Silly Putty. The universe goes, okay, you think you're less than, you're less than. And that's that. I don't know who started these things, but there's these little quirky phrases that as human beings we use to one another. Like, when I'm up and my wife is sitting on the couch, and out of nowhere comes, honey, you're so sensuous. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, since you was up, you get me a cup of coffee. That's the kind of hoodoo stuff we do inside of our head with ourselves. And the problem is, there's no one to bounce it off of. And so it gets really circular, and it gets really convoluted, and it gets really distorted to the point where we really believe it. And when you believe something long enough, when you practice something long enough, it becomes automatic. Automatic. Okay? I would wager to say that those of us that drove here today just simply went to our vehicle, opened the door, got in, turned it on, and drove here without much thought about hand, door, lift, open, in, sit, key, hold, turn. So we don't do all those things consciously because they're so automatic, it just happens. And if somebody were to ask you to write down the steps that you take to get dressed in the morning, it'll take you a while to figure it out. I mean, are you a sock, shoe, tie? Are you a shoe, tie, sock? You know, how do you do it? Most of us don't ever think about it. But if you started paying attention, you realize you do it exactly the same way every day. And that's why you don't think about it anymore. So the challenge, or the invitation, depends on how you view it, is to begin to look at what is the habitual thinking in your consciousness. What do you believe? And ministerial school is an amazing thing. And sometimes it's an annoying thing because it challenges everything you think you know. And then it replaces it with stuff you're pretty sure you don't want to know. And then you have to sort all that out to figure out what is yours to know. And one of the phrases that I cannot get out of my head is from Mind in the Cosmos, Dr. De Quincy. Most of our thoughts are not thoughts. It's noisy thinking about thoughts. We're not actually getting to our thoughts. We're thinking about our thoughts. We're thinking about, maybe I'll think about my thoughts, but we don't actually get to the thought. And we don't get to the thought because most of the time, if it's something that we need to think about, it's something we need to examine. And if I really wanted to examine it, I would have already done so. So I create this mental obstacle course, if you will, to keep me busy so I won't ever have to get to the discomfort that I have believed for however long I've believed it, and actually confront that and face it and maybe change that. It's called cognitive dissonance. And as human beings, we will do almost anything to avoid it. And the deeper the belief, the deeper the dissonance, because it calls into challenge some of those fundamental beliefs. It calls into challenge everything I've believed in some areas. It calls into challenge the integrity of my parents because they taught me that. See? And we are really uncomfortable looking at that stuff for good reason. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's very challenging. The good news is that's where change happens. That's where change happens. We talk a lot in Science of Mind about hidden thoughts. The good news is they're not hidden. Depending on what's showing up in your life news, is that they show up as your life. They're not hidden, though. Want to know what your beliefs are? Look at your life. There they are. There they are. Indisputable evidence of your beliefs is your life. Page 43 in our Science of Mind book, what it does. Love rules through law. In an intelligent study of the teachings of science of mind, we come to understand that all is love, and yet all is law. Love rules through law. Love is the divine givingness. Law is the way. Love is spontaneous. Law is impersonal. We should study the nature of reality with this in mind. And in this way we shall avoid two grave mistakes: either viewing life as made up of only mechanical laws, or viewing it as made up of only spontaneous actions, irrespective of law and order. Which, just reading that, makes me pause and think about our new consciousness in Washington, D.C. and law and order. So it doesn't matter what they think law and order is. We know what it is. Law and order is love and consciousness. And it will prevail, trust me. It is prevailing. As we gain the broader viewpoint, we shall see that life must contain two fundamental characteristics. We shall see that there is an infinite spirit operating through an infinite and immutable law. This is cosmos, not chaos. Finds an eternal existence in reality. Love points the way, and law makes it possible. So I would invite you, instead of focusing on the material world, instead of focusing on the stuff that you want or need, focus on love. Focus on what it would feel like, what you would feel like if you had the perfect transportation. Focus on what you would feel like if you had the perfect employment. Focus on what you would experience at an energetic feeling level when you have the perfect relationship or marriage or friendship. Because the divine has resources we don't even know about. See, and if I script it of what my perfect transportation has to look like, what if it's greater? What if the perfect relationship is beyond what I can conceive of because I'm conceiving from my past experience? See, that's the problem with scripting. We can only script from past experience, so there's no avenue to experience anything greater or newer. That's where imagination comes in. Imagination lives in love. If we can just go to that place of love and let it inform us about what's possible, our lives will explode in a magnificent way that we could never have imagined. And yet we did imagine it. Because we let our heart inform us. The thinking that I trust today does not come from my head. It doesn't come from my head. That's the noise. That's my human intellect versus my spiritual intelligence. My spiritual intelligence lives in my heart. It meets me in the silence. Reuben says, silence is the language of God. All else is poor translation. See, words come with a package, meaning based on social and cultural constructs. I want something beyond what I have. If I wanted more of what I already have, I would not be a ministerial school. I want something beyond what I have. I want something that wakes me up in the morning where I go, wow, where did this come from? Thank you. And I want to go to bed at night thanking the divine for doing the work while I'm asleep to create my next wow. because I've done the work in consciousness. I've done the spiritual practice to be in communion with the divine. This is a partnership that we're in. Yeah, see. Sometimes I get these nudges and I have to check in and go, okay. One of the things that I've noticed and that I battle with, when to speak up and when to shut up, is that I watch us in New Thought treat God like a vending machine. Put a wish in, get a demonstration out. What we don't realize is that most of that we're creating in the human body. We can do that. We can create there. We can manifest there. My challenge is that enough? Is that all you really want? Is that all that your desire is? It's kind of like one of the things that relates to for me is electricity. Okay? Electricity is amazing. And all of the electricity I need is in the plug. It's right there in the socket. And it does nothing until I plug something in and route that electricity to a function, to a purpose. And so I plug my toaster in, and now there is electricity going to my toaster. But until I push the little handle down, the electricity stops there. And my toaster only uses as much electricity as the wiring allows it to use. It doesn't use all of it. All of it is available. All of the electricity in that house is available to that toaster. But it doesn't use all of it because it's been programmed and wired to only use a small portion. We have been programmed and wired to only use a small portion of the infinite that lives within us. All of it is available. All of it was born in us. We don't have to go shopping to get it. We just have to remove the stuff that's hiding it. And that's our work in consciousness. We don't have to add anything. We need to get rid of stuff. We need to clean out our conscious closet that's hiding the suit we were born with that we're going to wear someday. Someday. I remember when the internet first started getting popular, and back when AOL was the only chat rooms. And I remember reading this post by this gentleman that his wife had bought a dress that she was saving for a special occasion. And he wound up burying her in that dress because she never found an occasion special enough to wear it. How often do we do that with our consciousness? It's right there. It was born as us, in us, and it needs us to plug in so we can use us. We have to participate. We have to unwire the limitation and rewire our consciousness to use all of the electricity that was born in us. You're not going to blow a circuit, I promise. See, but that's the stuff we tell ourselves. That it'll be too much. For who? For you or the people who want you to play small? Who's it going to be too much for? God did not create you small. Stop it. I'm going to do something right now. My mentor, Deborah Johnson, is teaching me that when I get a download from Spirit, to just do it. So I'm going to put all the men on the spot and ask you to come up here with me for a second. We're going to do... We're going to do a proxy reconciliation. And if you would, turn and face the women. Quality men see and treat women as equal. So I'm going to ask you guys to just trust me. Trust me, because it ain't me. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. I see you. I apologize to you as a woman for the harm that any man has ever done to you. I cherish you. I am here because a woman gave birth to me. And I promise you today to stand with you to ensure your equality. I promise to see you as equal value. Thank you for giving me life. Thanks, guys. Let's take this into prayer. Infinite oneness, voice of my heart, source of my soul, infinite, ever present, having no beginning, having no end. It is here now. It is moving. It is so very present in this moment. It is the oneness that we are experiencing. It is the energy that is flowing through each and every one. It is the energy throughout the cosmos that feels what is happening right here, right now. All that it is was born into all life. And so it must be my life. It can be no other way. All that it is has always been within me, waiting for my attention, waiting for my intention and the activity of accessing it, bringing it into form, into being as my life, inviting me again and again and again to be the infinite greatness that I was born to be. And what is true of me is true of all life. And so the infinite, all of it that was born into you, is calling you forth in this moment to be the infinite magnificence that you came here to be. No more playing small. No more being what someone else wants you to be. We realize in our oneness, the voice on the inside is to inform the outside. And so we change the conversation this day, this minute, from the inside out. Standing with one another, holding one another up, seeing the truth of our being, because that's how it works. That's what it does. And so we do that with ourselves and one another. We get out of the way and let it express as us. So grateful to know the truth. So incredibly grateful to be in this invitation, in this opportunity, in this bliss beyond what I ever imagined, being used of the divine, being used as that hollow bone to be the greatest that I came here to be, and calling forth the greatest in others. And so in this gratitude, I release my word into the activity of love and law that has already made it so, as each amazing, beautiful heart here. And I invite you, if any of this has resonated, to join me by anchoring it as we say together, and so it is.